Welcome to Sasquatch Talk. My name is Bradley Valentine. This is episode 14. We were just talking about we're getting things going here. Soon we'll hit 50 and then 100 and we'll see what goes from there. Today, we're talking about electric vehicles versus combustion vehicles. We kind of work in the biodiesel industry, if you will, because of our product. But that being said, we'll get into all that. My name is Bradley Valentine. On the top right of your screen, you have Troy Miller. And at the bottom, you have Dan Adams. So just a quick icebreaker. Since we're talking cars here, I want to know, what was the first car that you ever bought, whether it was as a teenager or maybe your parents bought it for you? What was the first car that you ever had? So Troy, I'll start with you.
It was either a 67 or a 69. I don't remember what year, but it was late 60s, Dodge pickup truck. It was a single cab, like single bench, automatic transmission with 3 gears, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And
dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was blue. It was like a not light blue or dark blue, just that kind of even blue. It was actually a nice truck.
Blue. Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Brad rode in mine. It was a wrecked little crappy Hyundai Excel, like a 1990.
That's a really small thing, right? The Excel?
Yeah, it was pretty small.
Nice. My first one was a Pontiac Grand Prix GT.
Yeah, I remember that thing.
Yeah, 4-door. I want to say 2002. It was a good car.
That sounds about right.
I wish they made Pontiac still. Those are good cars.
The first and only new car so far that I bought was with my wife. It was a 2003 Grand Am GT, and I liked that.
I remember that Grand Am.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
That model, Bradley, what you just described was Mel's first car too.
Oh wow!
Except it was like a 97 or a 98.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Comment down below what your first car was. Let's see them. Let's hear about them.
Yeah.
Did you hate it? Did you like it? Usually everybody likes their first car just enough to get to their next car.
I liked my first car. I would want another. All right, so speaking of first cars, we're talking electric versus combustion. And we had this conversation last week, the three of us, off camera, and we were just talking about how in the biodiesel industry, which is how Sasquatch gun oil started as a biodiesel, there's a lot of regulation to go through, and we don't know like what the future will look like for Sasquatch gun oil. And when Danny first told me about this before I was part of it, I kind of joked with him because there's an episode of Archer where they're making biodiesel and the CIA attacks this guy because they're like, hey, guess what? If you have like unlimited energy in biodiesel, you'll ruin the whole structure of the economy in the world. And so when Danny told me about it, that's the first thing I thought of. So let's talk about this. I want to talk about electric versus combustion. And I'll just start us off with a question and we'll go from there. I'll start with you, Troy. Where do you think we are today with the technology? Are you satisfied with the technology enough to buy yourself an electric car? Let's say you could afford one and you wanted one today. Would you get one, or would you wait, or will you never get one?
No, I wouldn't get one. One, it doesn't really suit my lifestyle. They have the Cybertruck, the Tesla Cybertruck, but from what I understand, that's the only electric pickup truck. And there's been issues with, I've seen it, like getting stuck in the snow and this and that. I go out into the mountains, I go, on these backwoods, and an electric car just won't kind of suit that lifestyle. So
there's the Rivian. The Rivian is an electric
the Rivian,
truck.
That's another
one. But that
one.
thing's like $100K.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so that's the other issue is if I had an extra 100,000, do I want to put it in a car that's dropping in value,
Opportunity cost, yeah.
or do I put it in an investment account or put it to work somehow other way? And that's kind of where I'm at with vehicles. I getting to the point where my next car is just going to be a cheap one with, low enough miles that I can just pay cash and just, so I'm not like you two, especially you, Dan, where I'm a car guy. I just see it as a means of transportation. So it's like, I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a vehicle.
Are you saying that a car is not an extension in and of yourself?
No, it is. It absolutely
What are we even
is.
doing here?
It absolutely is, but I have that nice, I want such and such car. That's never really been a thing for me.
Yeah. I'll throw it to you, Dan, but to clarify something, I am not a car guy. I drive, my car's a 2012 Chevy Cruze, which is like a little loser dad car. So I'm not a car guy. I'll get into what I would do about the Tesla, but the other car that Karen and I have is a Honda Passport, but that's all about utility, like going exploring the mountains. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice car, it's an expensive car, but Dan, what about you? Same question when it comes to
I think that okay, I've liked electric cars since I found out about them, because I was telling you, they always remind me of like an RC car.
Yeah.
Right? But then you get to drive it, They make the same noises.
Yeah.
Would I buy one brand new? No, I don't think I'll ever buy another car brand new, right?
Sure.
Unless they do like a throwback GT40 that's affordable, which will never happen.
Okay.
But what I would do is like a kit where you turn like a Nissan Leaf. What I want to do is take a Nissan Leaf and adapt it to a Volkswagen Manx, like a dune buggy. So that could be my work car, because I think where electric cars really shine, right? Like I'm here in Florida, you can see the sunshine.
Yeah.
If you got a bunch of solar panels, then you've got a couple of batteries that you can charge with your solar panels, where you can unplug them, put it in your car, and then drive it to and from work for 2 days or 3 days, or even a week, right? But the more battery you have in there, the heavier the car, blah, blah, blah. I like electric cars for their power, like the torque that you can get like now, right? Instant burnouts.
They just
How
go.
is that not cool? Just ripping, right? So I would say if you had solar panels and you didn't have to charge from the wall, that's where I would be with it. You're just trading one energy source for another,
right.
In my opinion.
When it comes to Troy, I was telling you I'm not a car guy. I'm all about the utility the car will provide me.
Yeah.
And that kind of drives how much worth and how much money I will spend. And last weekend, I forget what was happening. I think we were out, and I'm like, I don't feel like driving. I wish I could just take me this place.
Waymo.
So my thing is, I would get an electric car. I like the utility that they could provide, and I like this idea. It's very expensive. So let's say you have a Tesla. Let's say you have solar panels on your house, especially here in like somewhere Colorado Springs or Florida where it's sunny all the time. You get 2 batteries in your garage, right, that run your house, and then you go home, plug in your car, you can slow charge it, and you essentially never buy gas again. You essentially don't have a utility bill because you have solar panels. That's like the perfect world for me. Now, that, like, with everything I said, is probably like $150,000.
At least. Just the appliances.
The solar panel, the batteries, the car, the subscription.
You could build it all yourself.
Yeah,
do
sure.
It for like $30,000.
Yeah, okay. I'll build the car myself too, and the AI software to drive me around. But that's like my idea. when like I was super against like electric and solar at first because like I was younger. I'm like, oh, this is just a bunch of liberal bullshit, you know. Like, but today, like I see the utility and like I have the like that off-grid mentality. Like if I could just like not rely on like the utility companies and have all my own stuff, that's where I am. I think for me, it's just like, at what point does the value like meet the utility, and like how much money
Sure.
do I have versus how much I'm willing to spend?
Where it makes sense to spend that money instead of
Yeah.
being a want. So you were talking about hitting that button to just bring me to.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Waymo?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been on a Waymo?
No, I haven't.
So that's exactly what you just described, though.
Yeah.
Mel and I went to San Francisco back
Yeah.
in November, and I don't know if you guys ever been to downtown San
I
Francisco.
haven't.
Roads
One
are
time.
one time, yeah. 45-degree road inclines, sharp turns. It's just it's traffic. Well, they have this Waymo there, and you literally get on your phone, you hit the button, it requests it, it comes to you in a matter of minutes, and then you type in the address of where you want to go, and it brings you there. And it is that all electric Jaguars.
That's awesome.
Believe it or not. Yeah, but I could see that convenience in it, but it's only for that downtown
You're right.
urban kind of, and then when you get to the suburbs, maybe you start seeing people owning their own cars that have some autonomous
Yeah.
feature to it. Yeah, but I don't know. So solar panels, they only work in certain areas at certain times.
Right.
Like if you're in the northern climate, you're not going to get much power.
No, like somewhere like Colorado Springs or Florida would be like Colorado Springs would be perfect. It's sunny 300 days out of the year.
Yeah.
People all around my neighborhood, like probably 1 out of every 10 houses has solar panels. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot when you're driving by and
That's a lot.
Houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, Dan, what do you think?
I think that even with our biodiesel, right? If I had a semi truck, I would go with a 60 kilowatt diesel engine, driving a generator, and then have an electric axle. You could have 2 or even 3 electric axles,
like locomotives
with battery, kind of like what Edison or not. It's Edison. They're doing an electric semi truck up in Canada.
Like a hybrid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It can run for 2 hours with the generator off,
Yeah.
but then you can run the generator and charge it in 2.5 hours. But they do logging trucks with it.
Yeah.
And they're getting through all the BS, like we said, with anytime you're challenging the status quo, you have all of the hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
So they're jumping through all those hoops, and there's a lot of challenges and stuff along the way. Like even down to like doing their, like, if you wanted to build stuff in a tent, right? And you bought 10 acres out in Colorado somewhere, and you were like, you know what? I don't want to build a shop. I just want to do a gravel floor, and I'll throw up a tent, and then I'll climate control it. Well, then they were giving them trouble over that, and like, it's all kinds of craziness. Like they wrote all these things so that you have to put out $1 million to make a facility, and then you have to carry, liability insurance so that you can. If me and you agreed, hey, we want to do this thing, like, why? You could be a stuntman and die on your first stunt. Why can't I try to build a semi truck?
Let's get into the political component about it, because I think when we look at these things, like the three of us getting together, we're kind of like, maybe we would have an electric car, depending on the situation and the cost. But like we've seen California, or I think under Obama, he started like having mandates of having like the fuelage of cars, like the mandate, like it has to be a certain fuelage, or mileage, I should say. And like under Biden, like there were mandatory laws to have more and more electric vehicles. Electric vehicles still haven't hit that exponential point where the technology has gotten cheaper than like the cost of like producing them and like the income. So they're still expensive, right?
Yeah, not even just the technology, but the grid, right? We haven't laid new electric lines for a long time, and it puts a hurt, like the rolling brownouts and stuff that happen in California in the summertime. Like California had a mandate, like you could either charge your car or you could cool your house. Can't do both.
Yeah. And that's where the political component comes in, because it's like, so like in theory, right? Like if everything ran on electric and we never used fossil fuels, like, okay, that's good, but a million different factors have to fall in line, right? Where are we getting that electricity from? Who's producing those cars? And recently we were just talking about Donald Trump just stopped the mandates for electric cars, and all these companies, their electric departments were just losing money. They're throwing money away because
they've been losing money since they started.
Right.
Yeah,
but,
they've never earned money.
But the thing is, no one wants them yet. You know, so there are some people. There's still plenty of Teslas out there, but there's not a lot of electric GMC cars, a lot of electric Fords. There's a couple.
Well, the new Hummer's electric.
Yeah,
they've got, so there's
how
the
many do you
Hummer,
see on
there's
the road?
the Spark. There's a ton of electric ones out there.
Right. How many of them do you see purchased and driving around on the road? every day?
Because they're like $90,000.
That's the point.
Yeah, even the cheap ones are. Yeah.
So, Troy, I'll go to you. How long do you think it'll be, and like, where do you think the politics will go? Let's say we get another Democrat after Donald Trump. Where do you think the U.S. government will go, or our political system will go, with combustion versus electric? Will it just the pendulum swing all the way back?
I don't know. It's this pendulum, like you said, it will swing back and forth. It's never one way for very long before it starts swinging back the other way. But with those, like the government incentives, with the tax credits and all of that to try and encourage the use and purchase of electric vehicles. Well, now that they've kind of rolled that back, and if we, like you said, we say we do elect a Democratic president, and they try to reinstate those same things, it didn't work the first time. I'm not so sure it'll be as effective to the point where 70%, 80% of all car buyers are going to buy an electric car just because the government incentive.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, a $7,500 incentive on a $50,000 car is still, $42,500. So I mean,
exactly. Now imagine it being a $90,000 vehicle to save incentive. And I think Tesla is building a brand. People want a Tesla instead of an electric car, right? That's why they buy a Tesla. And so I think that's really what it is it's a brand name that people want, and not the majority of people don't necessarily want an electric car, which is every other model that, it's an electric car. Yeah, you got the Hummer. You got the, what'd you say, Dan?
There's the Spark. Yeah. There's, there's I think a Lincoln Electric. There's, everybody has an electric line, and they had to go that route, right? Because
like
all that was getting mandated. Let me throw something pretty wild out there that maybe you guys don't know. Does anybody have a guess when the first successful commercially available electric car was? What year?
I know they had some battery powered vehicles in like the early 1900s, but I don't know about it being commercially successful. I know there was the GM EV1 that was in the 90s.
Yeah. How about you, Brad? What do you think?
I guess it depends on how you're defining success.
Meaning you sold more than a handful,
and to a lot of on it.
Yeah, you're turning a relative profit.
It sounds like a trick question, but I'm going to act like it's not one. I'm going to say, assuming it's not a trick question, 2018.
Kind of trick.
It is a trick question.
So in 1890
to
to 1891, William Morris introduced the first successful electric automobile that went 14 miles an hour, 6 passengers. Okay. But in 1894, Henry G. Morris was the first successful electric car manufacturer. 1894. Used lead acid rechargeable batteries.
Yeah.
I think that one went like 16. Because remember, like the Model T was not long after that,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And it was the electric starter that caused the electric cars to fade into the past
Sure.
because you used to have to hand crank the gas ones, and that's what their
Right.
whole thing was. Like, you don't have to hand crank this, you just
Yeah.
go.
Well, here's the
Isn't
thing.
that
and
wild?
it is wild. And what I think about is like innovation versus like government mandate. So like technology, especially with transistors, usually innovates exponentially and then plateaus, right? Like if you think about
Mm-hmm.
phones, like they start off as giant bricks, they got smaller, they got bigger again, and they kind of like exponentially grew, and now we're at the plateau period of the growth. And like they start off expensive, got cheaper, then they got as expensive as demand gave it, right? They hit an
Yeah,
equilibrium
like it
price.
as much as a laptop now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You buy a
Yeah.
laptop or a new iPhone 37 or whatever they're on
Yeah.
with 80 cameras on.
Yeah. So my point is like with electric cars, we're still so early in the cycle where like the government innovation kind of is like trying to boost that exponential growth. So Danny, I'll ask you like how long do you think it'll be before like electric vehicles are there's 50-50 electric versus combustion cars on the road?
Down here in Florida, there's a lot more Teslas rolling around. I see them. It's probably 1 to 2 out of every 10. It's pretty wild.
Okay. So
Huh.
that's
Wow.
that's 10 to 15%, right? When do you think it'll be
Yeah.
50%? Every other car is an electric car.
Well, I think that depends on the batteries, right? So, um, right now, right, to let me bring up my other tab. Um, I was looking at this, right? It can cost you anywhere from 6 at non-peak at home, from 6 to above $50 to charge your electric car. So if your work schedule only allows you to fill up at a Tesla supercharger at your work, right? And it costs you $68 because of when you have to charge it at peak hours because your work schedule, right? You're not actually saving that much money. The tires cost more because they're heavier, right? I looked this up. The tires cost twice the price,
Yeah.
right?
And there's the cars are heavier, so they put a heavier load on the
Yeah,
tires.
where the tires wear, so they cost twice and wear twice as fast.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where I'm going with all of this is where it's every government thing you look up to see what the benefits of the electric car is. And like, there's a government website about, like, it tells you, oh, it's only $12 to charge it. Oh,
Right.
it downplays all of the hidden costs. And anything that's infomercial to you is probably not what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Anything that the government is like, you need this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I automatically go, I probably don't.
Why are you telling me I need this? What are you getting at?
Yeah. What are you getting out of it? That's what I
Yeah.
want to know.
Yeah.
What are you, the government, getting out of this?
Right.
Right? So, for one, there's the initial startup cost, and then the continued maintenance cost. So, to get to the 50% where it's like, I like burning gas and I'll always have a gas engine because I need a key. Because there's push button starters and like, I don't like those. They go bad. And then it's more money to replace your push button. And there's all kinds of workarounds. So does your car turn off at the stoplight and turn back on?
Yeah, yeah. You can turn that off, but the automatic start.
You can, but you have to do it every time you drive it, right?
No, or I don't think so. I think you turn it off and it stays off until you turn it back on.
a guy that I work with has an Acura, and he has to do it every time. But you can pay $180 for a code to set it one time.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to pay money so that your car doesn't do that, so that it doesn't wear out the starter.
Yeah.
Right?
Real quick note: Donald Trump just stopped those mandates.
He did. Yeah, that's not required going into the future. Yeah.
Right. But everybody that bought those cars has to deal with that garbage.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So what I'm saying is, all of these hidden fees for all this stuff, right? The time, I think, what I think will happen is the price of regular cars will come up and they'll be the same as electric cars. So then everybody can say, well, I can choose less hassle, or I can choose to fill up with fuel. The batteries have to get to a point where they either outlast the gas tank, or they at least break even with the gas tank for driving, right? Like you can get a solid 6 to 7 hours of driving in continuous at your driving style, right? Which in Florida means 20 plus the speed limit. Because the faster you go in electric cars, the quicker your battery drains, right? So I say all this to say, until you can charge one time and drive for as long as you want to drive with your self-driving feature and your lane assist and your all the other electronics of like, I want it to be, 5 car lengths behind the car in front of me, all of those happy things that come with all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Until they're a side-by-side comparison and there's not a huge trade-off for one or the other, you won't see the 50% until we get some equilibrium in the technology realm. Graphene could really help with the battery stuff, keep them from swelling, reduce the weight by 50%. Again, could be more infomercial crap. You never know.
Yeah. Troy, what do you think?
You brought up a good point, Tan, with especially the price point. I mean, if you're looking at the price of average vehicles today, new car, it is right up there with electric cars. I mean, it's pushing $50,000.
Yeah.
And in a few years,
but the electric car is still at a deficit for ability.
Right.
It did, yeah. So maybe in 10 years, the price point, electric cars and combustion vehicles might be on the same scale. I don't know. It might be longer than that if it gets there.
Well, let me ask you guys both this question.
Yeah.
When you bought tires for your Nissan truck when you got it, right?
Yeah.
How long did those tires last you?
Oh, I'm still on those tires.
And that's how many years?
It's been 2 years since 24. Yeah, so it's still
maybe roughly 10,000 miles on it.
Oh no.
Or 20?
No. Yeah, closer to 25 to 30.
Yeah.
Okay. So 30,000 miles, right? 2 years, still going strong. How about you, Brad?
Well, ours lasted, I think we're on our 3rd set of tires, but we do a lot of driving.
But for miles, how many miles?
Sorry, I was doing some math out loud. We bought our Honda Passport in 2022. We just got our 3rd set of tires maybe 6 months ago. So let's say,
in 4 years,
3 years we had 3 set of tires. But we have like 90,000 miles on our Honda.
30,000 roughly a set of tires.
Yeah.
And are you running them like you're not running down to like
no,
we're down to the wear bar?
No,
or are you like
our last one was a little. We probably should have changed them a little bit sooner. But I would say 25 to 30,000 is a good number.
And roughly what, about $1,000 for a set of tires for that thing?
I got some deals, but I would say
you're getting the mountain peaks with the snowflake, right?
Yeah. We got like multi-weather and like utility tires. They're a little cheaper than that, probably like $600.
Right. Now imagine paying $1,200,
Yeah.
and every time that you replaced them, you've already replaced them since then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're at 2,400 per time you changed them, or 1,200. So you're at like you're almost at a whole nother car, like a half another car in just tires. So we're gonna have to see, tire stuff come up, improvements in tire, which tire's been around a long time. We've come pretty far, but not that far because, again, for the amount that they put into them, if you make them too good where people don't have to buy them, you can't keep making them.
Right.
And then the cost outweighs, right? They'd have to pay, $6,000 to $12,000 for a lifetime of tires, but
yeah.
It's so not just tires too, but the batteries, right? They have to be mined. It's a raw resource that has to be mined and produced to make batteries, and they have to get up to a certain point where they can store energy and still be small and light. And
the last time I checked, what do they call that? When you're like, you buy something because it makes you better than other people.
Yeah, like you're morally like superior. Or something.
Moral high ground purchase, right? That's what all the government websites are touting. Like, oh, you'll have zero gas. Well, guess what? All the plastic that's in those not recycled.
Yeah.
So all that plastic uses petroleum. Maybe people don't know this.
The tires.
And the tires and all the grease in the motors and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Plus all the sheathing and all the wires and all the copper that's mined. It's not like you're getting a energy neutral car.
No.
It's not recycled from 10,000 other cars to make your car. So, it's not like it's not a carbon storage, right? They didn't make they could have gone with carbon reinforced plastic like FRP and done carbon. No, didn't do that. And like sequestered carbon with, you could have said, oh, 1 Tesla is equal to, 10 used cars and blah, blah, blah. We're cleaning up the earth. Darn it.
The environmentalists, it's good for the environment. It's a green energy thing. Well, the mining, they're building a lithium mine on the Oregon-Nevada border. Have you heard of that, Dan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention all the Indian land that they're trying to buy and like the burial grounds that they're disrupting. But so the government website says that those costs are too varied to factor in.
Yeah.
The mining operations are too varied from Venezuela to Canada to factor in.
What's funny about the environmentalists is that there was those costs, right? But there are environmentalists who are protesting
that new lithium mine. Yeah.
But they're the same group of people. They're advocating.
They drive all their Teslas to the protest.
Yeah. And so it's just kind of it's funny to see that. Yeah, you have natives, but still the environmentalists protesting it is, so it's just, and that adds to legal costs, undetermined variable costs.
I think that's where like the government is not good at innovating, and it's even worse at efficiency. So when the government tries to produce innovation or efficiency, all it does is like skyrocket costs. And like, if you're listening to this and you're like, so what? It's going to cost some money to innovate. We pay for that, right? Like that $7,500.
Yeah, look at New York right now.
Yeah. But like, if we
New York is innovating, and now they're all mad that it's going to cost them 20% more in taxes to pay for all the free stuff they're getting.
Like, if I go buy an electric car, I'm like, ooh, $7,500 tax credit, which isn't around anymore. It's like, well, I just paid for that tax credit in my, like, it's just like I'm paying for it later. I put that tax credit on credit.
Just kick that check down the road. I don't want to pay it today.
Exactly.
I want to put my taxes on layaway. I want to pay for them in 10 years. I could die and then I won't have to pay them.
You talk about mining, and it's not even just like wholesome lithium mines in the United States. Like often a lot of that like that you have to mine gold and other materials,
Yeah.
especially for
Yeah.
like solar panels. Like some of that is like poor African people getting paid like 50 cents an hour, right? And it's
Yes.
like, so the I guess my point is like, let's just do what's best for you, us as consumers, and eventually like the market will catch up, right? When we think we're doing something that's like morally superior, like you said, Dan, in the end, like we're pushing the burden on someone somewhere. So when the
Yeah.
government says you have to have more electric cars, you have to have start stop, like some of those things could be good if innovated well, but all we're doing is just pushing the pain to someone else, right? Like we're pushing the pain
Yeah.
to poor
Usually the kids.
workers, we're tearing apart the earth, which, you know, like it's our earth, we can do what we want with it, but it's like, are we going to burn oil or are we going to mine the ground? And that's my point, is like, just like let it work itself out. If I want an electric vehicle and I can afford one, I'll get one, you know? But
Right.
Let the consumer decide.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you don't want the government to tell you that you have to drive or be driven by an electric vehicle.
yeah, unless like, yeah, there's really, I mean, I was going to say unless they're going to pay for it, but that's just me paying for it.
Yeah,
you know?
you're paying for it still. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I will say this, like when it comes to Tesla, Tesla loses money on sales, but they need sales because they're trying to drive software, right? So
Right.
I don't know if you guys heard of the it was like 6 months ago, the board proposed $1 trillion pay package for Elon Musk. So basically it was like, in 10 years, if you get to certain goals, we'll essentially give you $1 trillion worth of stock. And obviously that was all over the news, right? I actually looked at this pay package and it assumes several things. For one, he has to it was like either 5 or 7x the stock price. So it wouldn't be worth $1 trillion if the stock price didn't go up, right? He also
Right.
had to
Yeah,
have...
you're not trying to trade it for less.
Yeah, he also had to have like 10 million sales of the Optimus, like the Tesla robot. He also had to have like 10 million rolling subscribers per month, or maybe it was per year, I don't know, of the Tesla self-drive. So essentially, there's a bunch of little things. He had to stay the CEO for 10 years, blah, blah, blah. So essentially, this was like $1 trillion pay package, which if he meets all those goals, he deserves $1 trillion essentially, right? Like if you 7x your stock price, if you have
Pretty lofty.
right, yeah. So
What is it? What is Tesla right now?
it's like
Yeah.
415. Let me see.
That would be $2,800, $3,000 a share.
It's 392 right now. So Tesla's, Troy, you and I had this conversation like a year ago. You're like, Tesla's not a growth stock. I'm like, yeah, it is. It has good growth. It's, it's up 17% over the last 6 months, 37% over the last year. So 7xing a stock, though, that's already very expensive, is very, very difficult. And unless they're going to do
$3,000.
What's it going to cost? What's it going to cost in ad money and like the ad money alone?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
it's got to be 5 million.
5 million.
That's low.
Yeah, I just mean for each little thing that they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like the ad cost for just the self-drive subscribers, right?
Yeah, I'm on with Troy. I think that's low. I'm with
Is
Troy.
that low?
That's a lot.
500 million?
Yeah, I think that's closer. But my point is like, okay, the innovative that Tesla is driving is like pushing subscribers, sales, and like value, right? That's something that the American government or any government can't do, right? Nor should it do. The government shouldn't be like, hey, we'll pay you $1 trillion if you do this. This is something that Tesla is trying to do as a company to drive sales in the long run, to make a crap ton of cash. So I like, Troy, what are your thoughts on like when we'll get to that point when every other car you see is a Tesla, or not even necessarily a Tesla, but an electric car?
When they replace the battery packs with a different source of electricity, like a mini nuclear reactor that generates
not
electricity
lithium
for
batteries?
the vehicle. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you mean
and-
like a liquefied thorium reactor that fits in a 20-foot shipping container, and you could have one in every town with a, yeah.
or
Yep.
just a
No,
personal
those are
one on
good,
each
and they're
each-
real, and it could work. It
And
ran for
yeah.
7 years.
So you just shrink it down to an individual sized vehicle, something like a decent sized SUV or truck in a car, right? And you never have to fill it up for 20 years. And it's cheaper than the battery packs, and
They wouldn't
they're
do it.
safe,
They
they're
wouldn't do it to
clean.
each individualized vehicle. They do it per town.
Yeah, you don't think you can make them small enough, like similar to the aircraft carriers that have their own nuclear reactor and produce their own energy.
I would
You
go
just
with a
shrink that.
sub. I would go with the nuclear sub, but it
But-
has to be cooled, right? It uses seawater to cool it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know these things, but I'm sure the technology can be shrunk to
Yeah, what if it
the
got
size of a
rear-ended
pedestrian
by
vehicle.
like a big truck, though? Like,
By
things
another
are s-
nuclear,
Yeah.
another nuclear power plant.
Hey, you know
Whoops.
what? Though? That might be easier to clean up than putting out an electric car battery fire. Because those when electric cars catch on fire, you're dealing with
Yeah, they
electrical
have to
fire.
let it burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if two nuclear cars got in an accident, like you said, it might be cheaper and easier to clean.
I don't think so.
I don't
I
know.
disagree
Yeah.
with that.
Listen,
Yeah.
I think the idea though is like once the efficiency rate catches up and it's worth it, I think that like when you just don't want to buy a $50,000 car, but like you can go like I need a new car and it's the same price, generally like I
Yeah.
can be like, okay, I can get this. It's the same convenience or inconvenience, kind of like what you were saying.
Well, we'd
Doug.
have to tackle the understanding. You do freedom finance, right?
Mhm.
So it would be poor financial advice to advise someone to make continued payments that were equal to their house payment
Yeah.
on a car that they just drove around. Like it would have to generate income,
Yeah.
So you'd have to have like off times, and when you're not going to be using it, then it'd have to be out dropping people off, And I know that there's car companies that are flirting with that idea. But what I'm saying is like it's not sound advice to get that much percentage. I mean, maybe people are making way more money than I do, and I just didn't know it. But
Not
I
driving
don't.
a vehicle
I don't
like
think
that. Unless
people are
you're
making that much money.
Yeah.
a luxurious chauffeur driver, but then that's a limo and not your own car.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and I've talked to other people around, and most of them are, they make payments. Their entire paycheck is gone every time because it pays for their lifestyle.
yeah. Well, that's a choice versus
It is no,
like
but
a
I just
necessity.
mean it's not a solid choice. That's what I'm
no,
saying.
of course not. I mean, but to your point, Dan, when you were talking about like a car that could make you money, we're not far from that with Tesla. Like they're
Yeah, there's already people that do Tesla rideshare stuff.
and it won't be long, and maybe it'll be a year, maybe it'll be 2, but not much more before your car. Like I was driving Carrie to the airport yesterday morning, and it was like at 4 a.m, and I was like, you know what would be cool? Like eventually, I don't know if I said this out loud or I was just thinking it because it's so early, but it's like it would be cool if eventually you could take the Tesla, drive it to the airport, and it'll just drive itself back home. We're not far from that. Like I know it seems like sci-fi.
Yeah, did you see the stuff about the alternate light going in, and there's a blue light that's going to go in for autonomous vehicles?
I didn't hear that. No.
Oh, traffic lights?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're not far from that. But again, the thing is like how that's a utility, but how much am I willing to pay for it, right?
Right.
Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, and there's on top of like all of that technology that you're paying for, states are also passing electric cars can get past that gas tax. Every time you go to the gas the gas station, and you fill up, you're paying a gas tax per gallon,
Right.
both to the feds and the states. And most states didn't have an electric car mileage. So by having an electric car, you're not paying for the road tax, basically. Well, there are states that are adding in this, like in Oregon, they are adding this bill. It's something like 7 cents a mile that they have to pay for. So it's not just paying for the technology, paying for all. Now you're actually having to pay the government for the honor of driving around.
Yeah.
Which is
An
why I
electric
want to
car.
build my own electric car and charge on my own solar panels.
Yes. But here's the thing is, like, that's where the government inefficiency comes in. Like, every few years you'll hear of a new town, district, or county that essentially outlaws by high taxes sugar, right? They'll say, like, hey, we're going to add a sugar tax because sugar's bad for you.
Yeah,
and,
syntax, yeah.
And what happens usually is, like, purchases of pop just plummets. And then what happens is the government doesn't get that tax money. And then what happens every single time is they say, we take it back. You can have your sugar at a lower cost, because $0 versus a few cents per, ounce of sugar is much more worth it. So that's like, Troy,
they just, every time they underestimate the Americans' ability to go, now I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And then we don't buy it, and then they're like, crap, we actually need that money, so they reverse these decisions. And that's the point, is like, where the government just doesn't understand efficiency, because it's not a free market. Troy?
Now, because it's not about efficiency, it's only about the dollar.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is.
Now,
imagine it's not about people need to understand, it's not about the American people. It's about how much capital they can get.
Yeah. So imagine that instead of that extra tax being on sugar, it being on corporations and businesses and private property and earned income. If they jack the taxes rates up on all of those,
that's what they do.
To leave. Yes.
They do that,
and that's what I mean. People tend to leave, and then it ends up being lower revenue for the government. And it's a loss.
That's why New York, however bad it is, they went after the exact class of people that don't make enough money to leave.
Yep. And the very people they said they weren't going to increase the taxes on too, and now they are.
Yeah. I feel like we all want to go on a rant about taxes. Like, damn it, the income tax is illegal. Like,
yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah, we're officially old people now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All we rant about is taxes and gas prices.
The dang government doesn't know what they're doing.
The boys up there in Washington.
All right, let's close it out with, well, we're almost out of time. Your final thoughts on the whole situation and anything you didn't get to say. I'll give you about a minute to 90 seconds each. Troy, you go ahead.
I was going to say the majority of the electricity is generated by some sort of combustion, whether you're burning coal, you're burning gas, you're burning oil, and it boils steam that turns the turbines to generate. Nuclear power is the same way. The only exception would be like wind and solar. But electric cars still require that combustion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A good chunk of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, what do you got?
You can see on the EPA Gov site where the power generated is from each state, and it varies by a lot of states.
Yeah.
Washington is actually like 40% hydroelectric. Because guess what? We built that with money back in the 50s.
Yeah.
And it's still making them money.
Yeah.
Because it's good, solid technology.
Whereas Oregon's removing all of theirs.
I don't have enough time on the clock to get into how dumb Oregon is being. There's not enough. We don't have enough podcasts left to jump into how dumb Oregon's being.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
Yeah.
Electric vehicles worth it for right now if you have smaller commutes, like 40, 50 miles or less, right?
A day.
And you got solar panels, right? Not ones that you're paying money for from a company that knocked on your door and charged you 6 times the amount it takes to put your own in. I'm talking you bought some used panels that still have 80% or better life left in them, and you ran your own cable and everything. Because you can get a good 20K solar setup for around 8 to 9,000.
Yeah.
Which is like way less than what them dudes are charging you.
Yeah.
So if you did that and you had, not a big commute and you had another vehicle that you could go put gas in an emergency when there's if you had your own standalone thing, cool. But if you're charging it from your wall outlet, if the power goes out, we need to call in work. Oh, I can't come in. Power was out. Not only did I oversleep, but my car's not charged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can get a Tesla that has 300 miles, per charge.
Yeah, but one time you're going to be like, all right, I got to charge it.
I mean,
right?
That's the same thing happens with combustion engines. People run out of gas all the time.
But it's faster to fill up a gas tank than it is to charge a battery.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
you
can.
And you could go to the store with a little tank, get 5 gallons, and come back. You can't.
There are tow truck companies that are carrying generators on them now with Tesla chargers, cool. So they can come put 30% in. I was like, dude, I should do that. I should get a 1-ton truck, put a generator in the back, and go charge up all these idiot. When we were out, the Waterfall Highway 138 in Oregon, some people passed us in a Tesla and flagged us down. They were like, oh, we're down to 20%. Do you know where their nearest Tesla charger is? And I looked back at our 04 Tahoe and I was like, I do not, but it's going to be in a town.
It's going to be 100 miles away.
Well, I'll close us out. And I think, Troy, you made an amazing point. Everything comes with combustion. And the image I get is like you have a nuclear reactor and like everyone sees those things and like they think it's pollution coming out, right?
Steam. It's water.
It's water. It's water vapor. People don't understand like nuclear is just like a hot rod that moves water around and the water creates the energy.
There is the heavy water that's created, which is
don't
bad.
Get me wrong. It's not a perfect system, but my point is it's like everything is just like something moving something around to create energy, right?
Yeah.
And
maybe we should talk about nuclear power for our next podcast.
I would be into that. We're out of time, though. I think our point is like, hey, it's one of those things where it's like once we get to the point as people to innovate, I think we will drive the innovation instead of the government mandating.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It has to cost. It has to cost enough or not enough.
Right. Yeah. That's equilibrium. We're not there yet, but we are out of time. We are Sasquatch Talk. We're the owners of Sasquatch Gun Oil. Troy's got some there, right there. Thanks for watching. This is the end of episode 14. We'll talk to you later. Adios.
Bye.